Hello everybody, Jordan here, the PH is silent. We've come to the end of the deities as listed in the Sword Coast Adventurers Guide. I've got some non-human deities I want to cover, so I'm not 100% done, but it's been a fun journey going through the quote main pantheon. Today we're covering Valcour, god of sailors and ships, and Waukeen, deity of trade and merchants. Valcour is a deity, I suppose. More specifically, he is an exarch of Tempest. An exarch, I had to look this up, is a demigod of sorts that follow a specific god. Valcour is considered a deity, but he's a lesser one at best. His portfolio is very niche in that it covers sailors, ships, and traveling the sea. He is closely tied with Saloon, as sailors use her stars to navigate by. It is said that Valcour himself can pilot any sailed craft through any conditions. He is most often represented as a daring sea captain who is jolly, lucky, and has a great belly laugh. The church itself is loosely organized. Members will worship together only when meeting on a ship and fighting one another. They rarely, if never, seek out other followers of Valcour. Most clerics of Valcour are also captains of sailing ships or officers in some capacity. Some clerics might run a shipyard from a port, but all of his followers have a longing for exploration and the sea. His clergy pray for their spells at dawn when the first hint of a breeze begins to stir. The church also celebrates only one holy day per year, known as the Shattering. It's held in early spring to mark the end of winter and the beginning of sailing season in the north. The celebration is marked by unfurling of new sails or christening a new ship. A lot of fighters and rogues worship Valcour, and you'll find their clerics often multi-class into those professions. It is not known for certain, but Valcour may have been a mortal man, a man who challenged Umberlee and won, elevating him to divine status. He is the sworn foe of the deities of fury. Although sailors will pray to him during naval conflicts, Valcour's primary interest is protecting sailors as a whole, making it difficult for him to take sides in a fight. The dogma of the church is travel by sea and what it represents. The feel of wind and spray on your face, defying the odds and dare the impossible, the thrill of exploration and the open oceans are all aspects followers of Valcour hold dear. Life is to be lived and damn the consequences. Your loyalties are first to your mates, then to your ship, and finally Valcour himself, who protects all sailors. Valcour is chaotic good. I couldn't find much information on Valcour, despite being mentioned in Faiths and Pantheons and the Sword Coast Adventurers Guide. There were few details. Perhaps Valcour will become a larger influence later on as Wizards of the Coast develops the Forgotten Realms even further. Up next is Waukeen, the neutral goddess of merchants. Her portfolio includes trade, money, and wealth. She appeals to the merchant class, and many shopkeepers and wealthy merchants worship Waukeen. She enjoys wealth, but not just for the sake of wealth, rather what it brings to a person. Waukeen enjoys the luxuries wealth brings her followers. Waukeen disappeared from the realms during the time of troubles. Waukeen's plan was to bribe Helm to let her walk up the celestial staircase to go home via the astral plane. This didn't work, and she was sent back down to Faerun. Waukeen came up with another plan to smuggle herself back into the astral plane, but in order for this plan to work, Waukeen needed to remove her deity status, because Lord Ao had set a hard and fast rule preventing all deities from returning to the astral plane. Seeing this loophole, if you will, Waukeen gave her divine portfolios to her friend Lyra for safekeeping. No longer considered a deity, Waukeen used her contacts to arrange a path through the outer planes into the astral plane. This took her to the demon prince Grisette, who agreed on terms with Waukeen. For Waukeen's knowledge of several secret places containing huge amounts of treasure on Toril, he would escort her through the abyss and into the astral plane. However, Grisette betrayed Waukeen and she became his permanent guest in the abyss. This became the basis for the adventure For Duty and Deity, where a group of adventurers had to travel into the abyss and retrieve Waukeen. I talked about this more in my video, so for further information, check out that video in the top right link. The Church of Waukeen took a hit with her being trapped in the abyss for so long. Many of her worshippers started worshipping Lyra because she contained Waukeen's portfolios. Since Waukeen's return to the Faerun Pantheon, those faithful to Waukeen have since transitioned back to their original goddess. The followers of Waukeen are known as coin spinners. Temples to Waukeen are built in a variety of architectural styles, but are almost always extravagant, featuring as much precious metals, gemstones, and expensive items as possible. Her dogma teaches that mercantile trade is the best road to enrichment. Her followers give money to beggars and businesses alike to demonstrate the bounty of the goddess. Worship Waukeen and you shall know wealth. Call on the goddess in trade and she will be there. And finally, the bold find gold, the careful keep it, and the timid yield it up, are all part of the teachings of Waukeen. Many clerics of Waukeen travel the world aiding merchants and banks in exchange for fees. Kinda makes me think of consulting work for a particular business. There are numerous holy days associated with Waukeen, all of them in relation to gold of some sort. The cleaving is one where a person enters the church covered in dirt carrying their weight in gold. Placing the gold on an altar, a bath is presented where the person bathes in a mixture of water and perfume laced with flecks of gold. All the while hymns are sung to the goddess. The major center of worship is the Gold Spires in Athkatla. Another is the House of All Plenty, which is really a small city in its own right, and said to be supported by the 7 merchant houses of Am. There are no knightly orders associated with the Church of Waukeen, but it does sponsor adventuring companies with a promise of a 20% tithe to the church. And that's it for today. Every time I hear a deity has no knightly orders, I get to thinking. For example, how could you be a paladin of Joaquin? Any greedy character would work out well for Joaquin. You don't even need to be a cleric, really. As far as Valcour, a swashbuckler rogue would be an excellent fit using the sailor background. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'm not 100% sure what videos are next, but I'll figure it out soon. Stay tuned, and I'll see you all next Wednesday.